My name is Mona Ling Leung. I am from Vancouver, Canada. I am called the conscious hairdresser, and I've been in the industry for 28 years. And I'm talking about the power of hair today. And why is it important to you? Because we all have it. Even if it's not on our head, it might be all over your body somewhere. Maybe you don't see it, but it's there. And why is it important? Is because hair holds a lot of energy and information. And hi, Daniel. And so, energy and information is stored in the hair. And I don't know if you know anyone that's Chinese, but the Chinese cut their hair before Chinese New Year's. Why? Is because they feel like they cut all the old off last year and they start off with the new. And it's really fun because so many people come to see me. I have a huge Chinese community that I also cut. But now all my clients understand this concept of cutting the old and starting the new. So I've kind of created this ritual for my clients when they come in. I was like, okay, so what do you want to release today? And what do you want to bring into your life? And so they just really think about that and feel it at the end, and they walk out enlivened. And so that's why people say, hey, you know what? When your hair is good, you feel good. You know, your hair makes your day. What's that saying? Good hair day. Yeah. So it really does make a difference. And I really believe in chi and energy and what's in the hair. And there's so many things that are not being scientifically proven, but really through experience, I have felt it. And so for example, I'm just wanted to share one thing about the forensics. So they'll take a piece of hair and your age, they can find out your age, ethnicity, your gender, all of that just from one piece of hair. And it's so interesting because there's so much energy, so much information in that one piece of hair. We don't know, we can't tell, but somehow in some way we do feel it. And so what's really cool about this is when one person, like a client, would be getting the haircut, and they're like, why do I feel like 5 pounds lighter? This is awesome. I know you only cut a few ounces off, but those few ounces is physically the hair. But I also believe that because we're intentionally cutting off the old, it is the thoughts that's in there that's being recorded, the energy in there that's heavy. And that's why people just feel light after. And I also, as a transformational healing hair artist, can feel this after 28 years of doing hair. People don't have to say a word, and it's really interesting. As soon as I feel the hair, I just have this knowing of what needs, in a sense, to be cleared. So maybe if they're not cutting all their hair off, it is all about the intention and working with people. So having hair rituals, I call them hair ceremonies. We're rising together with my clients, and it is the university of life that I'm working right in front of my chair. And it's so beautiful because it's reciprocal. I learn so much from my clients, and I can say that my clients, learn a lot from me as well. And I know that is something that I would never, ever want to quit. I want to do hair for the rest of my life. And not just because of the power of hair, but the power of relationships. And at the beginning of time, I really just did it for vanity. I just wanted to make people look good and feel good. But the feeling part came through after. It's like, wow, this person doesn't just look good. They actually felt good and felt alive and walking out of the salon. And it just made me feel like so good that I helped someone make them feel good today. And I realized that I had a pretty important job. And how deep the rabbit hole do I want to go with my clients? Because no matter what, when we have this deep connection with people, they seem to feel relaxed and there's this element of trust for each other, meaning that we trust each other to share sometimes very intimate things in the chair. And so I get to know my clients on a very deep level, depending on who and what they want to say that day. And I don't take that lightly. I really honor, you know, that connection, but also the gift of being able to, um, you know, provide the service of helping with the human needs. Um, we are basically helping humans, um, like supporting them in such a way that they're able to be seen, be heard, be understood, be touched, be loved. And these human needs are essential to be able to live in a good way, and hairdressers have the opportunity to do that. Clients are basically trusting us to put their heads in our hands. They're surrendering to us when they're washing their hair, and I'm, you know, just like, wow, what a very important thing. So, you know, the next time you go to the hair salon, you might think about something different this time. And, you know, maybe you can ask, what is it that is blocking me from moving forward today? Or why am I stressed? What do I want to, you know, just release out of my life? And just think of all those little things that, you know, and the big things that are just stopping you from moving forward, and release that through the haircut, through the intention of it. And no matter if your hairdresser is a conscious hairdresser or not, you can create the ceremony for yourself. Then the next thing is like, what is in my heart's desire? And I call that the first one, release. I is inviting. I'm inviting something into my life right now. Could it be, sometimes I hear, a new relationship? Could it be, you know, abundance, a new home, or empowerment, confidence, happiness, freedom, any of that? Like, this is something that you want to invite into your life, and whatever it is, like, just think about that before you go and walk into the salon. And then the third thing out of the four, I call it rise, the RI, and now we're going to the S, which is the synthesizing. So we do this in silence while I'm doing maybe a shampoo or a blow dry, and you know, I just request for my clients to be quiet so that they're able to really just tune into what they just released that was blocking them from moving forward, what they can bring into their life, and to really integrate that, synthesize that into your body. Because in that silence, there comes a breakthrough sometimes, an aha moment. And lastly, people feel enlivened. That's the E in rise, as we are here to rise with each other. The E is enlivened. We feel excited about life and what's happening when they walk out, because they look good, they feel good, and they're just like, it's only hair, but why does it transform me in such a way? You know, and so it really is so important for us as hairdressers and hair practitioners to see how deep the rabbit hole we want to go in this transformational healing art that we do. I absolutely love it so much. And what I feel at the end of the day is this connection that I have with my clients, and how I can be in service. Because really, at the end of the day, when we pass away, if we are lucky enough to be on this deathbed and have all these people in our lives, you know, seeing us to the other side, it would be nice to have all those people that care about me and love me, and that I mattered to them in my life. And you know, it was through these connections that I realized that, gosh, I am making a difference in people's lives, and people are making a difference in my life. And so through connections, there is the answer is good communication. So when we have good communication, we will have good connections, and therefore we have a good life. And so my prayer is for us to be able to express ourselves in such a way that we're able to communicate with each other and be able to express ourselves freely, um, so that we get each other. And so when you explain what you want to your stylist, when you are the stylist and you're listening truly to your client, it's like, what is the bottom line here? What is beneath all of this physical stuff? I call it beyond vanity. Vanity is like finding answers without, outside of ourselves, finding the answers and the validation outside of ourselves, asking like, oh, how do I look? Or what do you think about this? And that's natural and that's okay. But when it comes down to it running your life, that's a different story. And so I feel I'm here to remind people to be able to just really take that time for self-care, just even getting your hair cut, going to the sauna, whatever it is that you do for yourself, exercising, to just remind yourself that, hey, you know what? I am here to care for myself in this moment because I matter. And when we have that sense of time and self-care, we're able to self-reflect and self-realize, self-discover, self-explore all the things that's in our life and why we are here. Who the heck are we? And it's crazy because as a hairstylist, some call me the hair whisperer, the hair shaman, uh, a therapist. I don't take that lightly. I really honor that, so that, we, as a reminder, like I am that conduit. I'm here to remind people why they are here, who they are, and just to guide them to their own answers, to go beyond vanity, to look inside within themselves, to find those answers, because we have those answers within us and all within arm's reach. That is amazing, to be able to find ourselves in such a way that we can make a difference. Because at one point in our lives, could it be childhood? Most likely, but even up to today, there are people in our lives and society that tell us we're not good enough. Somehow we're not worthy enough, we're not smart enough, we're not beautiful enough, we're not rich enough, we're just not enough. And there's a time in our lives where I'm like, hey, you know what, this is not working anymore for me. And I see that in my chairs, like my clients, they're like, I'm not good enough, I'm not rich enough, I'm not whatever, I'm so stressed out, how can I be more, how can I do more? And I'm like, right now at this moment, it's just your time to just be you. Right now is just to do absolutely nothing but to breathe. Yeah, it's so important to remind ourselves to do that, to be able to just breathe and be, and stop being a human doing and being a human being. And in this moment, when we are able to stop and relax, lots of magic happens. I call them normicals, miracles, because people have that time to tune into themselves and feel who they are. And not all the time do they know where they're going and what they're doing. But in that moment, they do, because they don't need to do anything and they don't need more. And the reminder that we are our best selves. We are perfectly imperfect beings, and it's okay. It's okay to be perfectly imperfect. It's okay to make mistakes, because the next time it's a mistake. You take one, you take two, you take three, and this is really the evolution of life. This is why we are here, to experience it all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. Is there such a thing? The pain, the suffering, the anger, the happiness, the joy, the peace, the harmony. We are here to experience it all. So it's just a matter of understanding that, because we're here to experience it all, we are We are all of it. We are the shadows. We are the gifts, you know. And when we embrace those shadows and we walk right towards it, we are that spiritual warrior. We are that challenger that challenges ourselves to go through, you know, these hoops, to go into the dungeon, to go into the darkness, to look at our shadows face to face, to be able to see ourselves, to be able to see ourselves in such a way that we reflect. And that's why I say it's good to look at the mirror, maybe even 3 hours in 3 days to do your own little retreat, but just to look at this yourself in the mirror is like, I am challenging myself to look within me, to find myself. I go into the dungeon to maybe even slay a dragon, but to know that I'm going to go through these challenges, to go into the darkness of the cave, to find my shadows, to find this dragon, to, you know, maybe be happily surprised that it's not that bad. It's just me. And to start seeing the gifts of the forgotten, the beautiful gifts that we have, and that is of courage, and that is of perseverance, to keep on keeping on in our everyday life. And hair has so much to do with it, because when I cut the hair, I always tell people this was your intention. So every time you look at it and you feel it, you touch it, you tune into it, just remember who you are today. To remember that you have released what has no longer served you, and it keeps on coming back and haunting you. The healing will never be done, I don't think. There's just so much healing and so many onion layers. But to know that from each time we go into that cave, into slaying the dragon or whatever it is, to be that spiritual warrior, to know that you have that intention to go into those challenges, know that you will be a little more wiser every time, a little bit more information that you've gathered in experience. And so hair has everything to do with everything. And if you want to ask me, I'm happy to connect with you on the Conscious Hairdresser website. So theconscioushairdresser.com. I am also on Instagram and Facebook. Just look up The Conscious Hairdresser, Mona Ling Leung. I am also called The Seeker of Truth. And that is what I'm here to do. Once I seek the truth, I am so freaking ready to share with you. I'm so passionate about it, because there's so much to understand and decipher. What is your truth and what is someone else's truth? And when I understand that someone else's truth is not my truth anymore, and I find my own answers, that's when I become more confident and empowered within myself. And I share that with my clients, and, you know, I remind them who they are. And it's so important to remember this, because you know what? We are here to just live life in as much happiness as possible, and to live in bliss, which is called complete happiness when I looked that up in the dictionary. And, you know, I just think I'm going to end off with this, because to me, it's so blissful. And I want you to listen to this, because for me, sound vibration is healing. We are vibration. We are energy. If we didn't have energy, we would not be here. So hair has everything to do with everything. And I'm so happy that you're watching, because it is something that we have in our heads and our bodies at all times, and it is always recording something. And that is why we can know that you know, with the, you know, with one piece of hair, the DNA can tell you your age, ethnicity, gender, all of that stuff, right? You know, cortisol levels now, even medicine levels. Like, what is it not proving to us right now is our thoughts, is our DNA, is our ancestry, is our stress, in such a way where the details are not scientifically, you know, studied, because it's not important to the scientists, it's not important to the world, but as a person that touches hair every day and for the last 28 years, I do know that it has this energy and this so much information in there that I just want to remind you that the next time you get your hair cut, know that you have the power to release all of the nonsense that's no longer serving you. You have the intention now to invite in all that you want to bring into your life, because we are here to be in that freedom of living life just the way we want to. We are the authors of our life. And, when we forget, that is why we are watching things like this. That is why we have friends and community. We're here to remind each other that, we are just perfectly imperfect beings. Just, keep on keeping on in our lives, for each other, in community, in connection, in beauty and in love. So inviting all that's in your heart's desire is super important. Synthesizing, taking that time in silence to just bring it all in. And at the end, E in the and rise, the E and rise, to feel enlightened, excited about life, about yourself. So yes, that's how I put everything together, to let you know that everything has to do with hair, and that is the power of hair, and that is why I'm sharing this with you. I'm so passionate about life because I've become a hairdresser, and because I've had these opportunities to be in front of, what I call the University of Life, my chair. Every human being is so freaking unique. They all have their own path, their own stories, and I absolutely love it so much that it brings me passion and joy to be a hairdresser. So simply a hairdresser. But just to know, and for the hairdressers that are watching this or that will watch this, we are doing very important, transformative, healing, artistic work. And I say cheers to that. And the next time you see your hairdresser, give them a pat on the back, please. With COVID and everything happening, you know how important your hair is now. You know how precious it is. When you don't have a good haircut, you just feel heavier. You just don't feel so good. And, hair is so important to us, and I've had many phone calls from my clients. They're like, are you working yet? Are you working yet? And I'm like, no, I'm actually just taking this time for myself, because this is my time for retreating and reflecting and exploration and discovery and self-realization, so that I am able to share with you a bigger and better message, so that you are able to just feel so freaking fired up that you want to bring bliss into your life. Yep. Bliss is called complete happiness. And I said that once, and I'm going to say it again, because I feel that there's so many people that forget that we are here to live in happiness and bliss, and we don't know how, because we're just always we're always wanting more in life. We're always trying to get more, because we feel, in a sense, even a little part of us, that we're not enough, because someone told us that we're not enough in one part of our life or not, and mainly childhood. And so because of that, we have believed it and accepted it, and somehow it ran our lives. And right now, I'm here to remind you that we are just perfect the way we are. And we are going to be, as much as we can, human beings. And by being a human being, it takes dedication for you to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take some time to take care of myself today. Could it be just a hairbrush, or a thank you, or a mask on the face, or going to the sauna, or exercising, taking a walk, hugging a friend, a dog, whatever it is, taking a shower or bath. Like, there's so many little tiny ways to say thank you to myself, to thank you to yourself. And through that self-care, there is a self-connection. And through that self-connection, there is self-love. And through that self-love, man, there's so much more, because it's boundless. When there's self-love, there's that confidence and that, ability to be able to allow the miracles and the magic to come in, because we feel like we are worth it to receive. And it's the hardest things to receive for many people, including myself. But I've practiced so many times to starting off with self-care through all of that. And now just a reminder that that's what we're here to do. And so the next time you go to see a hairdresser, let's see how deep your journey will go. Thank you so much for listening to me. I am The Conscious Hairdresser. You can find me on my website, theconscioushairdresser.com, Instagram, Facebook. Love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for these reassuring and very positive vibes and energy. I love it.
Well, thank you. Do you have any questions? I think we still have 3 minutes left.
No, I mean, I think interestingly, like, I mean, you gave some good examples of like self-love. I mean, exercise and like face mask and like brushing your hair. I think it's like the simple things, just to remind ourselves that, okay, you know, we should care about ourselves rather than, you know, like getting caught up in this like race that sometimes, you know, we feel that we're in a race in life in terms of our career, in terms of, you know, our relationships as well. Oh, we have this, you know, burden, we have to catch up with all of these people. You know, even at work, you know, when we're trying to like compete with our colleagues, you know, so definitely sometimes like this time of self-isolation has given us the opportunity to like slow it down and like reflect a bit and focus on ourselves, focus on this inner love, the attention to give to ourselves, which you know, before Corona, we didn't have time for that because we're always just on the go. So I think your advice is like spot on and very valuable. So thanks for that.
Well, thank you so much for listening. And for me, it's always so beautiful to hear on the other side, you know, what the reception is. Like, what is it that people have resonated with? You know, and, you know, it is the most simplest thing, but we forget about that, you know, just to simply say thank you to ourselves. Even like say thank you to my hands and my feet and, you know, the organs in my body, and, you know, playing music. You know, I don't know how to play music, but actually I do, you know, because music is just sound. And any of that is a thank you to ourselves, because it just brings us a higher vibration, and that's where we want to go, is as little increments at a time. As long as we're climbing up into that higher vibration, that is, you know, the key to getting to bliss.
Yeah. And then my little thank you to myself today is I don't know if you can see my Apple Watch, but I've done 76 out of 30 minutes today of exercise. So I think that's my little you know, self-love of the day.
I love that. Keep on keeping on. That's all I could say. And you're inspiring me. Actually, I think I'm going to go for a kayak. I'm in this beautiful resort right now, and it's actually my self-love week. I'm doing this for myself since COVID, and instead of just being in the city, I bring myself into the country where I could just really take that time to reflect. Because, you know, when I do that, I become way more clear of who I am, and I have way more powerful messages and sharings with just even a friend next door, you know, and that's the joy of life for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
I'm gonna go kayaking. I'll share some pictures. I don't know even if we can even how we unite after this, but anyway, maybe just share it on my Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah, I'll follow you. It's interesting, your profile. So The Conscious Hairdresser. So
Yes,
what's the story of that?
Should be on Instagram. And actually, we have a movie that we are putting together. Is called Beyond Vanity. I have a team of people that are working so hard right now on finishing this film. We're on the editing stage. So Beyond Vanity, Beyond Vanity on Instagram, Beyond Vanity Facebook, but also The Conscious Hairdresser Instagram.
The Conscious Hairdresser. Okay.
The Conscious with a Z, and Mona Ling Liang, I think, is the Facebook. I actually don't go on social media that much, but I am now inspired to, because of people like you and others that are like, you know what, let's connect, because I think this is what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So the
All
next
right,
time
okay.
you go and,
Yeah.
get your hair cut, what are you going to do?
What was it? I really need a haircut. In fact, actually, interestingly, tomorrow I'm going to a dermatologist actually because I'm worried that I'm losing part of my hair. I don't know why. So I was a bit freaked out. So I don't know. Maybe as a hairdresser, maybe you have some insight into that. But I feel like there's just like a line over here that's like thinning. So I have no idea what the reason for that is.
Can you come a little bit closer?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that line wasn't a line that your hairdresser created?
No, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, I haven't been to the hairdresser in like a long time, and just maybe like a month ago, I just took I took a machine and I just buzz cut it. But still, like I feel that the hair on this side is a bit like on the sides here, it's very thin compared to the top and compared to the sides. So I'm just worried. Like, I mean, it's not the natural baldness. It's just apparently
Right.
it's going all the way there. So
It's
no idea what
interesting how it's a line. So you didn't create any lines at all in your haircut, because
no,
that's kind of
no.
like the in thing now. Actually,
Yeah,
you've got a
that's true.
really in haircut, and I'm sorry to make it a joke, but actually it's
No, no,
not.
no.
Um,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
looks good, and I thought you actually did it purposely. However,
Okay.
when I see spots like that, it's called alopecia areata. So people lose hair on certain spots of
Okay.
the head because mainly is stress.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, and this is definitely part of it. So I think it's two factors. Like I think about 2 or 3 months ago, I had like stressful situations at work, and I had this really bad habit of like plucking my hair. But still, like
Yes,
I mean, I would assume that it would still grow back, or would it take a bit more time?
it can take time. So it depends on if it's the first thing that we said,
Yeah, I'll
or
I'll
the
click
second
yes.
thing, which is called trichomania, and it is a disorder where people actually pull out their hair and they don't even realize
Yeah,
it. They do that in
yeah,
stressful times usually, or just
yeah,
even
yeah,
as a habit. Some people like
yeah,
might I know someone, I'm not going to even say who, I was just going to say, but I
yeah,
know someone that has done this, pretty well all her life. And she has
yeah,
bald spots because she didn't even realize she's pulling it out.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
just when she's stressed, she does it. And,
yeah,
I notice it and I tell her. So
yeah,
there's the two things. So to find out if you maybe see if there's any other spots,
yeah,
it could be, if you notice yourself pulling it out, then of course, then it could be that, and it might not be the beginning of something, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So the best thing I can say is, again, going back to self-care is,
yeah.
even massaging your scalp. And actually made a little video, it should be on Facebook today, on
Okay.
I was in the infrared sauna having my self-care time, and I
Mhm.
was doing an oil massage on my scalp and a clay mask on my face, Ayurvedic, all from India. It's so beautiful. Anyway, I was just showing how to massage. And I think it's
Okay.
so essential for us to massage our scalps and,
Yeah.
our face, and even like our hands. And self massage is so important, because from there, you're going to start to breathe. And breath is going to give your body energy, and it's just going to
Mhm.
move quite nicely.
Yeah, yeah,
So it all starts off with breath, self-care. And once you massage, it's
yeah,
crazy, blood circulation and everything's going to go through, and it's
yeah,
just beautiful. So
yeah,
I just love how there's so many awesome people joining in. I want to know all of you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
yeah, if you can remember to even like, massage.
Yeah,
I also say give gratitude. Whatever we put our attention into and intention is going to give it energy. And that's what it needs, is energy and a little bit of love.
yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm following you on Instagram, so hopefully we can stay
Thank
in
you.
touch in the future.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And I'm not on Instagram that often. So just that,
Okay.
I'm not ignoring you,
Yeah,
just because I really feel the importance of being alive and being live with people.
yeah, yeah.
This is still live to me. And
Mhm.
yeah, and so the next time you go to the hair salon, you create that hair ceremony and ritual. And for yours, I would probably, say, I just you know, have so much gratitude for my hair. When we don't have hair, we're like, shit, what's happening now? And then you appreciate it so much more. That's goes with relationships and a lot of other things. Muddy car, whatever. But you know, when we don't have it, we realize that we actually appreciate it. So the next time you go and you're like, okay, this hair ceremony is for me for self-care. This ceremony is for me to you know, basically align my outside with my inside. So who am I? What am I here to do? You know, and this ceremony is so for me and not for anyone else. We're going beyond vanity here now. And once you have that, I would be so surprised to know how fast your hair grows back. Because once you set that intention and that energy in there,
I believe, excuse me, I believe we are supposed to be starting this session.
Yeah, who is going to be starting?
Me.
Who's next?
Biggie.
Okay.
Biggie Stardust.
Please go.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Right.
Michael didn't tell me how this goes.
I just got a conscious haircut in the last like 10 minutes. I'm pretty psyched about it.
Awesome. I'd love to listen to you now.
Yeah. What is that? Shave and a haircut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
moderator.
Thank you so much for your patience, and
all good.
the baton is on your side.
Right. Moderator, what's your name?
I am not moderating, but
what? Well, the voice in the machine. What's your name?
Roberto.
You.
He's asking for your name.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
Hey, mate.
Roberto St. Malo from Madrid.
Ah, beautiful, brother.
Good to meet you.
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix and I'm taking a walk and I'm like a little bit low on battery, but I think I'm going to get home to recharge before. For those that are in the room, this is a conversation about digital nations and startup societies. We're kind of working on all those things at the same time. I'm going to go like to mute until I get off this busy freeway. If anybody else wants to introduce themselves that are in the room, just so we get a sense of who's here. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going mute and then I'll come back.
Great.
Okay, go ahead, Mona.
I am Mona Leung, and I'm super curious to know what's the next on the agenda. I'm from Vancouver, Canada.
Great, and I'm Munir. I'm originally Lebanese from Lebanon, but I'm based in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. So I work in government consulting, mainly around socio-economic development. So I mean, entrepreneurship is also a very dear topic to me. I previously co-founded a couple of companies. So very curious to see, to learn more about digital startups.
And my name is Roberto, and I am from Panama, but I've lived in Madrid for many years now. And I used to travel around quite a bit. I'm in venture capital, active in Israel, different parts of Europe, and the US primarily. And I am very excited and interested in the opportunities that I think are closer at hand than ever to start countries, nations, or something similar to it, maybe something more appropriate than the nations we've historically worked with and come from.
Thank you for sharing.
And we have a couple of other people in the room. Kyle and Sofia, are you there?
Hi everyone, yes, I'm here. Sorry, I haven't switched my video on, but I'll introduce myself. I'm working for a company called PalmPay, which is building a digital payments ecosystem in Africa. So I'm currently dialing in from Ghana. I was actually born in Ukraine. I grew up in London, but I'm generally traveling in different African countries. So I decided to get stuck here. And we're working together with a company that produces 50% of the smartphones sold in Africa. So the dreamers that were able to really shift the way that finance is done and make it digital on the continent. And I think that's what attracted me to this talk about digital nations, because it's kind of close to what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to meet you all.
Yep, nice to meet you.
Is our host still here, or did he lose battery? I can't see him anymore.
I believe he's going to recharge his phone.
He's close to connecting to recharge. Actually, now he apparently has completely run out of battery.
All right.
And yeah.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna jump into another room. I'll come back in a few minutes to see whether he's back. Bye.
Sure.
Bye. Have you been to many talks? Have you led a talk, perhaps, Monita?
Hi. I have many talks, and actually at the moment we are creating a documentary movie called Beyond Vanity, and it is about the mission of finding other hairdressers like me that are awakened, that want to make a huge difference in this world for global transformation. So elevating our beauty industry, which is something that I know very dearly and that's close to my heart. So, you know, one hairdresser at a time, and going around the world with the mission of being able to speak as one powerful voice, elevate our industry, therefore global transformation. So I'm just really getting ready to doing a podcast. We're going to start doing that as well.
Yep.
And then Mona, just on that topic, have you heard of like a barber talk or something? That there was this initiative where this barber uses his shop to like improve people's mental health. Have you heard of these initiatives? Because I feel there's a strong correlation between because barbers and mental health. Because I mean, I'm sure it's the same for females, but as a male, when we go to the barber, like it's usually 30 minutes and of like boring small talk usually sometimes. So I think that 30 minutes of doing nothing is a good chance for maybe barbers to be trained in mental health, and maybe to be trained with like how to ask a few questions to ensure that their customers are healthy mentally maybe. But have you heard of any of these initiatives?
You know what, if you would be able to private message me and let me share with me who these people are, that's exactly the people that I'm collaborating with all over the globe, and it's so beautiful. Not that particular one, but I did go to Nepal last year and collaborated with a company. It's called Hairdressers Without Borders. They're amazing. And I'm thinking, I heard of Doctors Without Borders, but Hairdressers Without Borders are really helping humans, and they're teaching them how to cut hair so that they can, not have to rely on anyone else. And they're mainly taking care of women that's been through, trafficking, sexual abuse, domestic violence, and things like that. But also, they're just helping humans, and other people like me or whoever goes around the world, and they were like, oh, we'll go there and help in some way or another, or teach people how to cut hair. That's another initiative that is just not known, but they're making such a big difference with, people all, every week, it's amazing.
Yeah. So I just quickly shared with you a couple of links on your Instagram. So if you use the Instagram, you'll see a couple messages from me.
Well, that's beautiful. Yeah, as I traveled around the world, I've met a lot of other hairdressers that are, like a hair shaman. And it's beautiful because he used to work at a 5-star salon in New York, and he did Jackie Onassis Kennedy's hair, and Lucille Ball, like a whole bunch of like celebrity. He was a celebrity stylist. And, when I went to his home, it was a beautiful castle. And he's now like doesn't do hair color anymore. He's going all holistic. He just couldn't stand that he was putting chemicals on people's hair, you know. And Jackie Kennedy had brain cancer, and he felt like that might have caused it. And so he's like completely cold turkey stopped doing that. And but out of that came this like whole awakening of like, what more can we do as hairstylists? You know, we can help definitely and guide, you know, and remind people who they are and their gifts and their power. Definitely help with their mental health, because we are always, you know, I feel like just surviving. When we could, you know, we're here to thrive, and we're here just to remind each other. And that's why it's nice to have community.
Yeah, for sure. Because the thing with barbers and hairdressers is you have that maybe 20-30 minutes of undivided attention, you know, where the person is just sitting there, and you know, typically they wouldn't be distracted with their phone unless they have that bib with like a transparent, you know, like cover where people can still use their phone. But most of the time, like personally, I prefer not to use my phone, you know, so just like relax and maybe have a conversation. So definitely I see an important role in, maybe it could be something called like hairdressers plus, you know, where you offer a service of like hairdressing, but additional, you know, emotional, mental support, of course, assuming that they're trained professionals. We're not professionals, but just trained to a certain, you know, extent, to maybe train to sort of detect like certain warning signals or something like that. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, you know, that is one of my dreams, and that is, I envision, I call them conscious hairdresser salons. And to me, the word consciousness is really awareness, is really noticing. And because as hairdressers, we notice what's happening right in front of us, you know, in the university of life. Like my client is stressed, or you know, whatever it is, they have fear, whatever the mental health is, you know, whatever that's blocking them from moving forward, that is something that we notice. And so being you know, named the conscious hairdresser now, I'm just like, you know, we're finding other conscious hairdressers around the world, whatever name they're called, and being able to make it grow much more bigger. And that's why I feel like with the documentary coming out, people are gonna see, you know, that their hair is very powerful, and their hairdressers are very powerful in a way where they can just make our day or break our day. And they are also here to when they are wanting to go deeper down that rabbit hole of being that transformative healing artist, we are able to make a difference. Only, you know, one drop of water at a time, right? One person at a time. And with the movie, it, you know, in hopes for the mass audience, the mass people to see that, wow, we don't even have to go to the hairdresser. You can cut your own hair, whatever it is. Make that, you know, make that commitment for yourself to just release every day. You don't even have to cut your hair. It's just an exercise, right? But once you know the exercise is like, release whatever that's no longer serving us. Let's bring in what we want. Let's get clear. Let's just take a moment to like, breathe it in and enjoy it and appreciate it. And then after that, then it's about, you know, being excited about our next moves, our next step. How do we move forward?